Welcome to another Sunday A.W.A.Y. ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest, Erin Jones, who's the Assistant Executive Director of A.W.A.Y, formerly known as the Women's Resource Center, joins us this morning. Thanks so much for coming to the forum.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Absolutely. Always love talking to you. Always love talking about, A.W.A.Y and all the important work that you all do over there.
We really appreciate it because it's so important what we do and what my staff does, and our advocates are absolutely incredible at what they do, and it's great to be able to talk about it, brag on them a little bit, but let people in our communities know what it is that we do, why we're here, and how they can be a part of it.
Absolutely. So, for people out there that may be watching that may be unfamiliar with A.W.A.Y, can you give them just a little brief overview of what you all are about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with people who've been through some of the darkest times in their lives. That's getting through domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and stalking. We work in 4 counties here in Southern West Virginia. We cover Raleigh, Fayette, Nicholas, and Summers counties. And we have advocates that will help people through all different kinds of situations, whether they're going through medical situations that have to do with the violence, or if they're talking a legal battle or something like that. You don't have to go through any of this alone. We're here to help you through the entire process.
Absolutely, and that's wonderful. And I already know that, this is an ongoing issue, every month of the year, but particularly this month, I'm sure you're going to be especially busy with it being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So,
we are. We have a lot of things coming up. We have a lot of amazing events coming up this month. We're going to be partnering with our local high schools in Raleigh County, and we're excited to be doing that. You can find us at some football games on Fridays coming up this month at the 4 different high schools here in Raleigh County. We will be at a couple of volleyball games. We have our Purple Halo Gala at the end of the month, which we're really excited about. It's our 2nd year to do it, and it's such a great event because it's fun for the people who get to attend, but you're still helping somebody. Your attendance allows us to do what we do with things that we may not be able to pay for other ways. So it's an amazing event because you get to have a great night, but it also helps people. So it's really, really fun. We're really excited about it, and we cannot wait for another year.
Awesome. And I was reading a little bit about it, before we came out today, and I see that this year it's a masquerade ball.
It is a masquerade ball. I've been having a lot of fun finding decorations for it, but it will be, just something a little bit different, something a little bit fun. You don't necessarily have to wear a mask. I definitely will be. I'm very excited about it. I might have found it a while ago and was like, yes, been holding on to it. But it'll be a really fun event. You get dinner. We have an amazing speaker coming, A.W.A.Y, and we're super excited about that. She is a survivor of domestic violence and has actually worked in the field that we work in now and helps other people who've been through this experience. So it's going to be an amazing experience. So much fun. Dancing, if you're a dancer. If you're not, that's okay. You can come for the food and still have a fun night. But we are super excited about it.
Awesome. And this is the 27th of October.
26th. It's a
26th.
Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're doing a Thursday this year. Last year we did a Friday. This year it will be on a Thursday. I will not be held accountable or liable for anyone who doesn't show up to work on Friday. That is on you. but it will be a great night. Starts at 6 p.m. We're going to kick off and have a great, great time.
Awesome. Well, anybody that does miss, at least they partied for a cause.
Absolutely. They had a good time for a cause, and that's kind of what it is. It's a night to really, reflect on what we do a little bit, but also just enjoy yourself, but know that what you're doing, and even though you're having a fun night, you are helping people who've been through these situations, domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and stalking. Some of these things get overlooked a lot, or it's kind of stigmatized. You don't want to talk about those types of things, but this is a way to talk about it, but it not feel like it's a super heavy topic necessarily. The more we talk about different things, the lighter they become, right? The more it's out there, the more you're like, oh, we can just have a conversation about this and it's not weird or heavy. And this is a way to do that as well. Plus, you get to dress up and have a fun night.
Definitely, and wear a mask. I've never been to a masquerade ball, and I feel that that's really just cool. So, you guys, you're all out there. You have to buy tickets, correct?
You do. So you can find them on our website, awayw.org/events. And there's information about the event. There's information about our speaker. You can do tickets tickets there. If you're a business and you're interested in sponsoring, those sponsorships are there. You can do them right online, so you don't have to like, oh gosh, old school, write a check out and send it to us. No, you can actually buy them right there online. If you're not able to come to the event but still want to participate in some way and do some sort of donation, you can reach out to us, or you can also reach out through our website and you can donate there as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, several ways to get involved and be a part of the event even if you can't be there. So, oh, and one of my favorite questions at Community Forum, are you all needing any volunteers for the event or anybody to come out and help out?
We are actually set on volunteers for this particular event. Thank you for asking though, because we do have a lot of events throughout the year that we need volunteers for. And if anyone's interested in participating in that way, or even just volunteering, you know, throughout the week or something like that, we can always use a helping hand. That's very helpful. We have all kinds of people do all kinds of things, from helping out weed pulling even. They make our facilities look beautiful, all the way up to helping us with filing and helping with, you know, our clientele and doing things like that that are maybe a little more on the serious side. We have our volunteer form also on our website, and you can fill that out and it'll get submitted to us and we can reach out to you that way.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
connect.
So many ways to, get involved with you all, and it's wonderful. So we were talking a little bit about the high school, about the games and things that you'll be at. We'll probably see some A.W.A.Y reporters there as well for Fabulous Football Fridays. But what will you all be doing at the games?
So we're going to be just sharing a little information. We'll have some t-shirts that will help support us as well as some of the schools. So you can buy some t-shirts if you want, and we're just partnering with them to do a little awareness. We find that if you can talk to people maybe when they're a little bit younger about these situations, it helps prevent some of these situations from happening. You know, if you can talk to teenagers and say, hey, here are the red signs of an unhealthy relationship, it can really help them to avoid those relationships later on in life and protect them from dangerous situations. So it's a way for us to really reach out to our community and try to prevent things from happening. We would love to work ourselves out of a job. We would love that. We no longer needed to be here because domestic violence, sexual assault had completely stopped in Southern West Virginia. Right now, that's not the case. So we're still here, but we're going to continue to do awareness and prevention and try to keep these situations from happening, because it keeps our community safer and it keeps our youth safer. And that's what's really important to us. We want these kids to be safe. We want them to have opportunities that are free of violence. So that's why we're doing it. And that's why we're so excited to be a part, and that so grateful that the high schools and that our administration for, the school board have allowed us to do this. We're very excited.
Yeah, and that's a really awesome idea, because I find that, I know like the most recent generation, they're very educated about social issues and things like that. So I feel that this is a way to even educate them more and give them a new cause to like speak out about. So that's wonderful.
Thank you. And we think so too, because, I don't think people realize how young some of these situations can happen. When you're a teenager especially, it's very hard. You feel like your parents maybe don't understand. I remember I definitely didn't. I was like, you don't know. And of course they did. But when you're that age, it's very hard to maybe have that connection with a parent or feel comfortable with that. And we're going to give them some opportunities to talk about situations, maybe with some other people, and open that dialogue between them and their parents, and talk about, that kind of safety, personal safety, as well as safety when you're out in environments that could potentially be really dangerous.
And I think it's something, even for adults, it's difficult to identify those signs in a relationship. So I think to start them as early as possible and to sort of make this a normalized thing is really wonderful.
Thank
and I feel
you.
like that's part of you all kind of working your way out of a job.
Hopefully that is the game plan, is that we're like, oh no, we all have to look for a job this week, because it has basically been eradicated in Southern West Virginia. We would love to be that standard for the entire country. Like I said, unfortunately right now that isn't the case. We do have a lot of situations that can turn very violent. People, sometimes are just not good people. And like you said, the younger you can start them recognizing those red flags, and you go, oh, hey, actually that's not okay in a relationship. I'm not going to be here. I don't want to be a part of this. We think that that's the better thing, because it prevents the situation from ever escalating to that point. And that prevents us from having to get involved, hopefully. So that's the safest way that we can think to do it and prevent, things from happening in the first place.
Awesome. And with it being, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, what are some, ways that people out in the community could help with awareness, spreading more awareness and trying to, really resolve this issue?
Well, feel free to contact us. We are so happy to come in, talk to schools, churches, any businesses, if you want to educate maybe your staff about different situations involving domestic violence or sexual assault or harassment. We talk about all of these things. We talk about dating violence with our youth and things like that. So any of those type of things, you can reach out to us. We are happy to come put a presentation together for you. I know that my boss this week got to go and talk to the Rotary a little bit more about what we do and give them some information. And so we're really excited to do those types of projects because, again, the more you know, the more you can keep an eye out for those situations and say, oh, hold up. Now I can see what's going on because it's so subtle and so many, especially with domestic violence, it's such a slow climb or decline maybe into actual physical violence. A lot of times a lot of things happen before it usually gets to that point. Not always, but the majority, there's isolation and then we're gonna, be verbally abusive, mentally abusive. So by the time the physical abuse happens, you don't have anywhere to go. You don't have anyone to talk to. You think it's your fault. You think that you're the cause of all this. And if you're just a better wife or mom or girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or son or whatever it is, you think that if I can do better, then the situation gets better. But a lot of times it doesn't. And that's not what happens. So if we're able to talk to people about this, you can recognize those red flags in your relationships, but also in other people's relationships, your friends, your family, and maybe be there and be a listening ear for them. So you know how to handle it too. If they come to you and say, hey, this happened to me, you go, oh, you're not alone. I'm right here. Let's get this handled. What can we do? What do you need? So we can help with that as well.
That's awesome. And we're about to head off to break in a moment, but before we go, do you mind plugging the contact information so everybody can get in touch with you all and buy tickets to the gala?
Absolutely. It's A.W.A.Y.org and /events. I'm so sorry. A.W.A.Y.org/events. Or if you just go to the A.W.A.Y.org, you can go to get involved and find our events page from right there. You can also learn more information on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's available there as well. We have the links up for those. And if you're ever in a situation, have questions, you can call us at 304-255-2559. That's 304-255-2559.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you guys. We are about to go off to our first break in a moment, but you guys stay tuned. I'm here with Assistant Executive Director Erin Jones from A.W.A.Y, and we're talking about everything that they have going on this month, especially in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So you guys stay tuned to stay informed. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with the Assistant Executive Director of A.W.A.Y, formerly known as the Women's Resource Center, Erin Jones, and we're talking about everything that A.W.A.Y does, especially in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. They have a lot of events going on today, and right now we're going to talk more about domestic violence in relationships, and especially interpersonal relationships with your friends and your family. So you ended it off great that last time, kind of talking about how warning signs and things like that. But I have read that it usually takes on average about 7 times for an abuse victim to leave their abuser. And I know that that can get a little maybe frustrating or a little disheartening for the friends of these people and family members. So what type of advice do you have for those people that may be dealing with that type of situation?
I hate to be short and sweet about it, it's kind of stick with it because it is an average of 7 times, which means it could be more or it could be less. Most dangerous time for somebody is when they decide to leave. That it becomes very dangerous because the abuser feels their power and their control slipping. And that's what an abusive relationship is really about, is power and control. So there's a lot of layers that go into these relationships, just like any relationship. I don't want to make it sound like, every relationship ends this way, but there's a lot of layers that end up in a relationship, right? But you've been probably isolated from your friends and family, so you don't have that same connection. So you don't know, oh, are you still going to be there? Or if you did maybe attempt to leave once before and went back, they go, oh my gosh, but why would you do that? I don't understand it. And it is hard to understand unless you deal with it every single day. And that's where, part of our staff can come in. You can call us and talk to us about that, and we can walk you through that process as a secondary victim. That's what we call them. So you're not the primary, but you are a secondary because you are dealing with the situation still. It is still affecting you. And we have some counseling options and things like that for you as well. But it really is being there for the person all the time and letting them know that you're always going to be there. Hey, your decisions are your decisions to be made. That's our big thing, is we don't make decisions for anybody, but you have to know that we're going to be here. We're always going to be here. We have had people who have had us come into the situation more than once. We've had people who have either left multiple relationships with the same person, or maybe even a few relationships with different people that still ended up in this bad situation. It does happen. So don't feel ashamed. Don't feel scared if you are the victim of this type of situation. We're going to be here for you, and probably your friends and family are actually there for you a lot more than you think. And if you're that friend or that family member, just know that it is really hard to do. There's so many layers. There's been so much manipulation. There's been so much isolation. There have been, just complete breakdown of the individual soul of that person. They've been completely broken down, and they're taking back their power by making this attempt to leave. And when they're successful, you want to be there for them, and you want to make sure that you're there to see them grow and become themselves again and become those individuals. And it is a really hard and tedious process because you love them. You want them to be safe and happy and healthy. And it's really hard to go through that situation, but you're not alone. We're here for you as well. And, if you need to talk to an advocate, please call us. We're happy to help you in any way that we can.
And I feel like that's a wonderful way to fight back against that isolation, and that abuser is like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. Like, you can't get rid of me. So,
And it is really hard because a lot of times, I'll tell a little personal story. I had a friend who was in an abusive relationship that I did not know about because we lived 4 hours away from each other. And I was an approved friend to talk to because he could monitor our conversations, and knew that she couldn't tell me anything about what was going on because he would monitor what she was saying. But she always knew I was there. She always knew that, hey, if you need to come have a place to stay or something, whatever it is, I'm here. That's not always the best option because sometimes it's a safety issue, for the friend as well, and or the family member you're staying with, which is why we have shelter. But it is just so empowering to know that you have people there, even if maybe they don't know the situation that's going on. Maybe they don't have all the information. Maybe they think this is actually a great person because they're really good at putting on a face in front of your friends and family, even though you don't see them that often. You just see them at Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. And they're really good at Christmas. So everyone's like, oh, they're amazing. And it's like, maybe not so much. Yeah. There might be things going on you don't know. So you just have to be there and believe them. Believe what they're saying. Take it into heart. This is your friend. This is your family member. You know them. So you know that they're telling you the truth. As hard as it might be to believe, even if that abuser is someone who's really charming and manipulative, because usually they are very charming, you have to believe them and just say, hey, well, if that's what's going on, like, I'm here, and just keep being there for them.
Awesome. And I was going to ask about, you all have a shelter. So what is the process for that? Like, if someone needs to go to a shelter, what would be the process for them to get there and get to safety?
So there's a few options. We do have a shelter, and obviously it's the main priority is safety. How you get there and such is safety. So we'll have people who drive themselves, call us up, say, hey, this is what's going on. You got room? Yes, absolutely. Come on in, and they'll just drive up, and we take them right in, get them a room, get them situated, acclimated to the process and kind of how we do things throughout the day, because it's a little bit, more structured, I would say. Like, we have breakfast, we have lunch, we have dinner, we have snack times, fun stuff like that. You will be well fed for sure. And then some people, maybe the situation got to a violent point where law enforcement has been called. So there is the option of law enforcement will transport as well. So if you are a victim of domestic violence and you don't have a way to get there, you can call us or you can call your local law enforcement and they'll transport you as well. Always call us and let us know what's going on so that we make sure that, we have the space, because if not, we'll get you into a place that does have the space. We're going to get you in a situation that's safe, absolutely. But just give us the heads up, you're getting over there. We will be happy to get you situated.
Awesome. I didn't know you all had, additional options just in case the shelter was already full. So that's really wonderful to know that, you're helping every way that you can.
Well, and in West Virginia, we have this amazing thing called the West Virginia Coalition Against Domestic Violence. It's a very long title. We usually shorten it to an acronym. But we have 14 licensed programs within the state, and we cover all 55 counties. Lord, I was about to say states. It's not all 55 states, 55 counties that we do cover between the 14 programs. So if anyone's ever full, we are able to call up one of our sister programs and say, hey, you got room? Because I'm sending someone over. They need to be safe. That's the primary thing. We do like to keep people as local as possible because a lot of times there's court hearings. There might be, a family court situation, kid exchanges, kids' schools are here a lot of times. So it's hard to get them, especially when you have children involved, pull them completely out of their routine and they're in a whole new situation. But we're really lucky in the sense that we have the largest shelter in the state, so usually space is not quite an issue for us. Has been, but it's rare, so we're pretty lucky that way.
That's great. That's great. And, you were mentioning that not everybody will go to a shelter.
Yes.
So what does that kind of look like when, they're still in the home, but they really need help?
Absolutely. So if you decide that shelter might not be the right fit for you, or if you have a safe place to go that's outside of shelter, you're staying with friends, you're staying with family, they are perfectly happy to have you there and you are perfectly safe where you are, that is fantastic. That is why we have our outreach offices. We have one in each county. So those advocates do the exact same thing that our advocates in our shelter do. The only thing we don't provide is a place for you to stay because that's why we have shelter. But outside of that, we basically we do everything that we do at shelter. We can help you find housing. We can help you figure out the job situation. We can help you with medical advocacy. We can help you with legal aid. So anything that you need, if we can't provide it, we have a lot of resources. We got a lot of community partners that are absolutely amazing and work with us so well. And we work with them. We've worked with most of them for years. Law enforcement, our prosecuting attorneys, our CACs, which is Child Advocacy Centers. We're so used to acronyms, sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm throwing them out. I'm like, hold on. But we're so used to working with them, and we have such good working relationship with all of these entities that it's something that if we can't provide it, we probably know someone who can, and we can get you in there with the right person to make sure that you're taken care of. So one service that we don't really do is under a certain age children. That's not our area of expertise. So we will work with our child advocacy centers and say, hey, if your child has witnessed this experience, maybe they've witnessed the violence against the parent, they probably need to talk to somebody. And that's why we have these other revenues of safety and these other revenues of getting you what you need and what your family needs to provide those services to make sure that every member of your family is taken care of.
That's great. And it's really like a holistic approach to make sure no stone kind of goes unturned and
Yeah, and the process is really individualized. I remember when I very first started here over 2 years ago talking to our case manager, and I was like, hey, can you tell me the process? What does it look like? And she was like, it's so individualized because each person has a different need, or a different need is more priority than another. So maybe housing is the priority this time. Maybe that's it, but we also, need to go through the process of divorce. We also need to go through the process of custody with the children, but right now it's housing. That's number one, right? So it's whatever that number one priority is, we're gonna get that, and then we're gonna work on all of the other things. And that number one priority changes for everyone, so sometimes it might be an addiction. Maybe that number one priority is, hey, we got to handle this situation first, and then we can handle everything else. So whatever it is, we personalize your process, your safety plan, everything to keep you in the best possible situation and set up for the best success that we can possibly do. We're going to make that plan with you. It's a team effort. We don't make decisions for anyone, like I said, but we can't work the plan for you. We'll work with you. We're going to help you with the steps. We're going to get you as far as, we can go and everything. And then spread the wings and ready to get back out there on your own. But it is very much, you gotta kind of do the work, which is good because it gets you confident again. I remember, when you're a kid and the first time you try to do a cartwheel or something and you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way. And like the first time you land it, you're like, oh my gosh, I got this. I can do this. It's no problem. It's like that, you're like, oh, I can't do it. And then all of a sudden you did it already. Like you already did it. It's already done. And you're like, oh, wait, I got this. I can do this on my own. I can go out and do what I need to do and make the phone calls or even, teenagers getting into adulthood and where you're like, hey, mom, can you call and make my dentist appointment? Like you can do it on your own. You just have to take that first step. And we're with you through that. But we're with you for as long as you need us. We still have people who will call in and say, hey, I'm just checking in, letting you know how my life is going. This is where we are. And, I got a new job. I got a promotion. The kids are going out of high school, going to college or whatever it is. And it's the most encouraging part of our job is hearing our success stories of people that we've worked with. So it's just a process and it's really individualized to what you need.
That's wonderful. And it looks like you all are really doing so much work to really not even just help them, but empower them to like go on with their lives and help themselves even more and, just thrive. So that's wonderful.
That's exactly it, So when people either come to shelter or talking to us, usually you're at the darkest point of your life, right? You've been through a really traumatic situation. We work with traumatic situations. It's not, a really fun part of the job. The fun part is when you see the success, when you see people grow, so I'll see people come in and, their kids are scared and they're scared and they, are in a safe place for the first time. So they finally get to breathe that sigh of, oh my gosh, I'm not walking on eggshells. I can say what I think. I can, do what I want to do. And then it's learning from there. Oh wait, here are all the things that I never learned. We have people who never made a cup of coffee, never learned how to cook eggs because their abuser would not let them. And it's things that a lot of us take for granted because that's something that we were taught as children. Our parents taught us, or, we weren't in a relationship where that was cut off from us. So it's really amazing to see these people say, hey, can you teach me to cook? Hey, can you teach me how to balance my checkbook? Because I don't really know how to do that. And it's like, absolutely, let's talk about it. Let's go through it. And then